What's up, guys? Welcome back and to another little remote episode of my podcast. We've got a local guy that I've been fortunate to know, I guess, for about 7, 8 years. This is the first time I actually met you and talked to you. And when I saw that you were making that venture to make it fishing as a profession, not just because you've been doing your guiding for years, as long as I can remember, you've been guiding. Let's talk about what we don't know. We do have Bassmaster Claw. How does that sound? Bassmaster Classic. Cole stands with me for coming
Yeah,
on. And,
glad to be here.
let's talk a little bit about your uh, getting to the classic because it's going to be your first classic.
Yeah.
And I imagine that being able to see and make the cut, being able to go to the classic and be able to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma in March and be able to have the opportunity to be able to hold up the Freestyle Trophy. And has it sinked in yet that you're going to?
I think it has. I think it'll really sink in when I get there. But it's really, I mean, just to be there is such an honor. It's the Super Bowl of basketball, so just very blessed, very fortunate to be there. It's one of the deals, it's not a points tournament, so you can just go into it. It's my first year making it, and it's all or nothing. It's that time of year. It's in March. They should be moving up, maybe staging, getting ready to spawn. So there should be a lot of fish that are shallow. Should be a great time of year to throw some big swim baits, which I like to do. So just want to go there, have fun. Being a rookie, I don't think a lot of people have a whole lot of expectations for me necessarily, which I like. I just go there, fish free, and I'm just going to enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to be there, and hopefully, we're going to be. We would like to be able to talk to you during media day. So we're going to try to during media day. We want to do a little interview to kind of see. By the time we see you on media day, you've already been there for weeks, and so kind of see how the numbers and stuff and everything. I imagine everybody that we talk to in Knoxville, they're just like, just ready to get the line ready to get it going. But how was it with being your rookie year last year to how was it? Was that your goal to make it to the classic this year? Or was it? Or were you just trying to just I'm just running my feet and trying to make a name for myself? Was the whole year your mindset on I want to make it classic?
Well, I mean, absolutely. My goals going into the year, it was my first year fishing professionally. I mean, of course, I wanted to do good in every tournament, but I just wanted to take away a lot from every tournament. My main goals going into the year were Rookie of the Year and making the Classic. Which Rookie of the Year, the rookies killed it this year. We have I think 7 or 8 Classic qualifiers, which is an insane statistic. But I started the year out. My very first tournament, I absolutely followed. So starting the year out after that, I'm like, okay, for me to make the Classic, I'm probably out of it for Rookie of the Year, maybe not, but I just need to be consistent. And that's the type of fisherman I want to be. I feel like that's how you make a career at it. Of course, the top tens will come as you stay consistent. But after that first bad tournament, I really had a pretty good year. I made checks in 7 of the 9 events. Just very consistent with the 20th places, the 30th places, a couple 40th place finishes, and I'm happy with it. I learned a ton. Like I said, one of my main goals was making the Classic. I came extremely close to making the Classic twice in college. I fished 2 Classic brackets, which only 8 people get a shot to fish those each year, and so I came really close to it. I was really heartbroken the 2 times I didn't make it in college, especially one of them was on Watts Bar, which is one of my home lakes. Barely missed winning that one. So yeah, man, it's a dream come true, and I just can't wait to fish it.
mindset going into I know us watching it, live or watching it, we were like,
Yeah,
knowing we were always going to be totally wrong.
yeah,
That's really, I can imagine.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, definitely going to that last event, I figured I needed a top 30, 35 finish somewhere in there to make it to be safe, and it was on the St. Lawrence River, great fishery. I'd never been there before, and then we had really bad weather one day in practice, so practice was limited to 2 days. So I'm like, okay, this is probably not the best situation, but we were predicted to have 50-mile-per-hour winds the first day of the tournament. So I decided to stay close to the boat ramp, maximize my time in practice, but also maximize my time in the tournament. And I ran up and down the river the 2 days of practice I had. I found one area. It was maybe a 3-mile stretch. There's about 9 or 10 places in that one area where I felt like there's a little bit better quality fish. And the bite wasn't easy. But I just kind of decided to spend all my time in that one area. And of course, there's nerves and everything, but I've always been the type of fisherman. Like, if it's meant to happen, it will. Like, I can only control what I can control. Absolutely. So, I just went out there and trusted my instincts. Trusted that, if the Lord wanted me to make it to the Classic, it was going to happen. And if not, I got next year. I'm proud of myself this year for coming back like I did. But, of course, I wanted to make a Classic. And I think the most nervous part of it was when I finished the third day, and I knew I was in the Classic at one point. I caught the fish to the exact ounce I had to catch to make the Classic. I mean, it was the exact ounce.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Seeing on the live and stuff, and it's like that's what they even said. It's like saying it's going to have this amount, and then when it comes out, I mean, to the team, exactly what you needed. And I was like,
And what was crazy initially when I weighed in, I didn't think I had enough. I think I had right at 20 pounds. I was right under it, which sounds great unless you're at the St. Lawrence River and it's really just kind of mediocre. And I was kind of mad at myself. I was and I wasn't. I fished really clean for 3 days, so I was happy about that. I feel like I capitalized on almost every one of my opportunities, but I was like, man, I just needed one more fish. And, it just so happened some other guys who I thought were going to catch them to get ahead of me, they didn't catch them. Then the most stressful thing was watching Scott Martin on day 4. He was the one guy who could have jumped me. If he finished, I think, top 3, he could have jumped me for that Classic spot. So that was probably the most nervous part of it. But it very well could have. And he was second man out. But yeah. He did. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So,
what was through this tournament season? What was the biggest thing that you took out of it as a learning opportunity that you had?
I mean, there's a lot I took out of it, but I think one of the biggest things, as far as just making the Classic every year, which is always going to be one of my goals, make up points every chance you get. What I mean by that is there were several tournaments when I made the third day cut. I was sitting 30th, 40th place. I went swinging for the fences on the third day trying to get the top 10, which is good. I mean, he hit it and definitely make a top 10 finish. That's how you get your name out there and win more money, which is great. But there were several times where I felt like if I'd have played it safe, I could have got 10 points here, 5 points here, and then at the end of the year I would have finished 35th in points instead of 42nd after I finished. So, I mean, it goes both ways. I mean, I could have definitely, lucked up and hit a home run and maybe
But
won
it
it.
could have also swung the other way around, where
Yeah,
they might have put you in the 50th.
yeah, absolutely. So, I make up points every chance you get. I definitely learned a lot just fishing. I never got into smallmouth fishing until this year. So I was very proud of my finishes there. I made a top 50 cut in all 3 of those. Learned a ton about smallmouth fishing, and
You're going to be able to use that from there down here.
I think so. I mean, a lot of it's just being good with electronics and active target or live scope or whatever it is that you use. It's such a huge advantage. It helps you understand so much about fish behavior, absolutely. That's one thing that definitely helped me. And one of the biggest things, actually, some of the stuff I learned down here, I learned up there. because like St. Clair, for example, is a shallow, flat fishery with a ton of grass, and the deal there was finding bare spots in the grass, which is something I've done. Gunnersville, Harris Chain, Chickamauga. I mean, so it actually wasn't near as complicated as I was kind of making it in my head going into it. So, definitely took away something from every tournament. Uh, them guys that I fish against are unbelievable. That's something that I definitely took away as well. Like the excuse that they're not biting or the fishing sucks, you can't use it anymore because they're going to catch them. It don't matter if it's terrible conditions. Those guys are good, and you just have to have that mindset you have to catch them. So,
I like the fact that how you was talking, going late to 15, another question. How you talked about, all right, I found a 2 mile stretch that had 8 points on it where I knew that was catching good quality fish. So with that being said, I wanted to kind of turn it to this. You've been doing a lot of videos lately that I've watched, and I've really enjoyed watching about lake.
yep.
Now, how big is that experience? Like, you went up to St. Clair, how much time are you actually studying the maps?
A pretty good bit. I want to be as prepared as I can be going into a tournament. So, I'm going to do a little bit of article reading about past tournaments, look at past tournament results, videos. But map study is a huge part. And a big thing for me is just kind of familiarizing myself with what certain areas look like. Because you don't always know where they're going to be at. But once you kind of study map, there's a lot of good mapping out there. Lake maps are one of my favorites personally. But I try to familiarize myself with the lake, and then you also consider seasonal factors. If the fish are moving up to spawn or moving out. I personally am more of an offshore fisherman. I like fishing for groups of fish. I love shallow fishing. Don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm pretty decent at it. But if I can have a choice, especially in a 4-day tournament, I'm going to catch them offshore. So I definitely want to do as much map study as I can. But then once I get there, a lot of it's just trial and error. Get a lot of different stuff, keep a very open mind, and then once you start putting on maybe contour lines, or maybe this flat's close to a steep drop, that's when that map study that you did beforehand, you're like, oh yeah, I remember there's 4 or 5 areas like that, and also on this part of the lake, close by. A lot of it's map study during the week. I'm starting to get a fish doing this. I can pull back Lake Master again, pull back up, and look like, okay, I got 3 or 4 more spots.
That is what Norm and I were talking about you. And I told him, I was like, I've talked to you just only a handful of times since the time 7 years was the first time I met you. But I told him, I was like, I'm sitting out on the waters all the time. I'm out on Chicago 4 or 5 times a week. Nick and Jack and all that around, and I see you, and I'm like, very versatile because I have seen you out. I have seen also being on the bank, also trying to, and but my thinking is that one that has helped you this past year to be able to be that versatile, especially going to different lakes and different scenarios and stuff that you never did seem like they'd have a camera on you or something like that. You never really seen that. The whole season, I think that was another big thing that I took away from it. Is I think Cole fishing, he's confident. And you might not have been, but it looked like
He has a mindset.
yeah, your mindset was confident. And also seeing you out on stuff, and I've seen you do both as wedge fishing offshore and up shallow outside. He's done it. And I knew in that last tournament up shallow and stuff like that, I was like, he's going to find it. And I remember if he can find the right size fish that he needs, he's comfortable. He just got to be able to find the fish. And I think that's, you explain it well too, like in your YouTube and stuff like that, when you're talking about the lake nets and stuff. Like the movement and stuff, what you're looking for, how because you're not willing to be out here trying to learn something new, trying to pick up, even if it's somebody that might not have as much time on the water as what you do, somebody that's got 20 years on top of it, then you're not out here willing to learn. You just go and do what the right thing is. And so, but your videos have been also my studies, especially on here, the last videos I've seen. You would also do modifications and stuff like that. I really enjoy those. Interaction. It kind of makes it seem more personal. Instead of somebody sitting there, you made it personal. Being at the time, doing the modifications. So I want to say thanks to you on that social media. Uh, but we also want to ask you about guiding.
Yeah.
Because how long have you been doing guiding?
So I think it'll be 3 years in January that I've got it, and I've loved it. I really enjoyed it. Coming out of college, I wanted to set myself up to fish professionally for one, so I wanted to do something that would allow me to set my own schedule. So I started guiding. It does two things. One, allows me to make an income, which I of course, I enjoy that. Two, I really love teaching people how to fish too, and giving them confidence that they can go out and do it on their own. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I can do. I love getting texts from my clients. Hey, took this that we did last week on Chick with you. Took it to my home lake and had a great day. Caught 8 pounder, caught some nice fish. That's the most rewarding thing for me as a guy.
I would say that's whenever I saw a guy in here
Yeah.
his knowledge kind of, affect another anglers, and they can take what you taught them back to their own body of water and kind of do it.
And then one last thing, it allows me to just have time on the water. And I feel like the more time you have in the water, the better you're going to be at fishing.
That's what I even think that people really don't understand. So they think, well, I go to the fitness qualified Thursday and then Saturday I'm out here fishing in the local tournament. But you've got 5 other days. I mean, you really don't, have to be out there 7 days a week. But I mean, but you pretty much clearly have to be out there, especially depending on time.
That's one. I was gonna say that's one of the biggest questions we get asked to our young school kids, what have you. How do you, how do you become a professional athlete?
Yeah.
Do it. And that's one thing that gets way too overlooked. These young kids have to figure it out. It doesn't matter if you even pick the boat at that time. Go to your local fishing club. Fishing just, you don't know how that's going to affect how much you can run just by doing that. Take that and when you do finally get a boat, you're able to kind of expand the body of water for the fish. It's no different than any other sport. You got to practice to get better, to become. If you don't practice, you're not going to get better. You're not going to get better. You're into fishing is no different. You have to practice better at it than we try to strong. Get out on the water. It doesn't matter even if you don't at that time. Go fishing. Because you don't realize mentally pay attention to what you're doing.
I learn something new every single time I go out. I mean, as much as I fish, I'm 27, I'm pretty young, but I still learn something new every day. To comment on, just a young kid, as they're growing up fishing. I started, fishing ponds. That's where I got a lot of confidence doing, different techniques. I'd go to my pond or a neighbor's pond or whoever's pond I could go to, and I'd get good at a drum shot or a spinner bait or whatever. That's how you build that confidence when you're young. You get good at mechanics, good at casting. A little bit about my story. I started doing that, get some confidence. Joined a little junior bass club, and I was fortunate enough to get a little aluminum boat in high school, which allowed me to get on the water and just kind of work my way up. But yeah, I mean, if you're young trying to come up, just spend some time out there gaining that confidence and working on your mechanics.
But we do have Cole Sands coming on our podcast here in December, right after Christmas. He's going to come on. We'll have him for about an hour. And so we're going to be able to ask him questions that are getting into details about my fishing career, how he got started, and everything. But I do want to say, like, if people want to get you to contact you, guy, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Just message me on Facebook's probably the easiest way. Cole Sands Fishing. That's probably the easiest way. I also have a website, colesandsfishing.com. My number's on there. Feel free to call me, text me, whatever. I don't have a ton of dates open, but I have some. So if y'all want to go, hit me up. We'll go catch some big Chickamauga Lake fish. And, if you have any questions you want to learn, I love doing that as guide tricks too. Whether it's graphing, electronics, seeing patterns, whatever. I love teaching. So, just message me.
That's the big thing. Is, you don't know. You want to find out information that you find. You ask somebody. So don't be embarrassed. If you want to learn, like really how to look at the graph and be able to find out, look at your units and be able to find out this is a fish, this is not a fish. And because like on the side image, people, if the fish is elevated or suspended up a little bit, they might be mistaking it as a boulder or something like that. So I mean, it's good to be able to ask somebody that knows what they're looking at. That's finished. Whatever. And, so I mean, we strongly suggest that if you don't really know, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about, but to get better, you got to be able to.
That's the thing with fishing, and if you're trying to better your craft, learn a little bit more about fishing, and when you get out on the water, there's really no bad question. That's the only way you're going to learn is to ask. There's no better man right here than Cole Sands. Yeah, definitely. You don't have a couple days left.
I've got a handful. I booked up pretty quick, which is a good portion of bounce. I do have a couple of them.
Now, once the season starts, you're no longer going, though, right?
I got in between tournaments. So I got some.
Is there a lake next year that you're looking forward to going
I got to say Grand Lake, which it is the classic, but outside the classic, I never fished Grand, but just in the past tournaments and stuff, there's a lot of rock. It's the time of year the water should start back on, and I love to throw a shallow crankbait a lot. I love to. That time of year, I do like to fish the lake, but I also love throwing big swim baits. So I really do look forward to that one.
I think that it's right that you're right about that. Water warm it up. And I actually believe that we might actually see better bags this next year we see this year in Knoxville.
Okay. You'll see Grand Lake's a good fisher. It's going to take probably 22 pounds of it. It's a good lake. It'll show out, and I think we're hitting it. They've had two classics in Grand Lake before. One was high, muddy, cold water, and the other one was super cold water as well, like 36-degree water. I think this year is going to be up more than 50. I think you're going to see some.
I believe as well. The one thing though, we're looking forward to seeing you walk across that stage.
Yeah,
And we talked to other people and they're saying that that your truck pulls you in.
Yeah, sure.
But Coleman, congratulations on getting your brother. And we're looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
So,
Last Thursday in December, right?
that's it. All right, guys, we're going to get off here. And
Appreciate everybody coming along with us today. I think we ended up with 3 lives.
guys, have last Thursday, 8th December, and questions ready, and let's pick the brain, and we will see you later.